Saturday, October 25th. The German forces are 40 kilometers away from Moscow. Their march is starting to slow down due to the heavy snowfall. Having occupied Kharkov, the troops of the Reich take hold of the railway station of Belgorod. The menace of the German army is now falling upon Rostov, further south. The Italian Foreign Affairs Minister, Count Ciano, visits the headquarters of the Führer in Rostenburg, Poland, to discuss the military situation in the front. Hitler approves the construction of gas chambers in the extermination camps. Dr. Helmuth Kallmeyer, nicknamed the Brack Chemist, is put in charge of supplying the insecticide Zyklon B, produced by I.G. Farben. On the other hand, murderous bureaucrat Adolf Eichmann, who is responsible of Jewish deportations and one of the main architects of the Holocaust, orders that the Jews arriving at the ghetto of Riga, Latvia, from different regions of the Reich be murdered in gas trucks. The British Admiralty names Admiral Tom Phillips, also known as Admiral Thumb, due to his short height, head of the Z-Force formed by the battleship Prince of Wales, cruiser Repulse, and 4 destroyers. They are to operate in Southeast Asia. The British and American governments agree on a common policy to reinforce the Chinese military front of Chiang Kai-shek in his fight against the Japanese invaders. Sunday, October 26th. Field Marshal Wilhelm Ritter von Lieb visits the Führer's headquarters in Rostenburg. The Nazi leader thinks that 65-year-old von Lieb is too old to understand his way of thinking. He is senile, has lost his strength, and as a good old Catholic, he's only interested in praying. I am considering his substitution by von Kuchle, he tells General Wilhelm Keitel before meeting with Marshal Lieb. In northern Russia, the German bombings destroy the railway line of Murmansk at different points. In the Central Theater, despite the unfavorable weather conditions, the air raids against Moscow continue. The Kremlin is struck. In the south, in Crimea, the ramming of the German forces breaks the Soviet defenses in the Perekop Isthmus, and the Panzer divisions march to the interior of the peninsula. In the area surrounding Rostov, fierce combats are being waged. Stalin orders the defense of the city until the last man standing is killed, as its occupation would jeopardize future operations in the Don region. The famous German ice skater Benno Faltmer dies in the front at 28 years of age. Groups of RAF bombers massively attack the German city of Hamburg. In Japan, the Navy launches the aircraft carrier Zukaiku. In North Africa, in Tobruk, Libya, while a troop replacement is taking place, the mine layer Latona is sunk and destroyer Hero is damaged by the German Stutka. General Claude Auchinleck prepares Operation Crusader, the third attempt to break the siege laid by the Axis troops around Tobruk, Libya. Monday, October 27th. After 10 days of intense fighting, the German troops and their allies have occupied most of the Crimean Peninsula except for Sevastopol. In the east of Ukraine, the German advance continues and the city of Kramatorsk is taken. The troops of Army Group Center move into Volokholamsk, west of Moscow, after 2 weeks of combats. In Kaunas, the second largest city in Lithuania, more than 9,000 Jews are murdered by the German special forces. Heavy bombings continue to be carried out by the British against Hamburg in Germany and Cherbourg in France. The French Vichy government passes a law tackling the attacks against the German occupation forces. An announcement is made regarding the creation of a new unit named the Joan of Arc Legion that will join the Germans in their fight against Russia. President Roosevelt, celebrating the Fleet Week, delivers a specially harsh speech honoring the men lost in the attack by a German submarine against destroyer Carney, stating that America has been attacked. Hitler's torpedoes were directed at us. History will remember who fired the first shot. Tuesday, October 28th. General Guderian launches his tanks against the Russian defense line south of Moscow. The muddy ground and the resistance of the Soviets stall the offensive. The first attempt to take over the city of Tula has failed. General Georgy Zhukov has managed, with limited success, to slow down the German advance upon Moscow. However, Army Group Center has 5 armored divisions at less than 100 kilometers from the Soviet capital. The Standartenführer of the SS, Paul Blobel, chief of the 4th Sonderkommando of the Einsatzgruppe C, continues to carry out mass killings in the Kiev region. His groups score 34,000 new killings of Jews. In the river Donets basin, they take Kramatorskaya, where one of the largest Russian tank factories is located. Stalin is opposed to Churchill's proposal of allowing British troops from the Middle East to enter Russian territory to reinforce the Soviet armies in the defense of the Caucasus region. In the United States, the aeronautical industries announced that they will soon manufacture 250 aircraft per day, surpassing the figure put forward by the government. After the speech of President Roosevelt, the opposition accuses him of being a warmonger by publicly considering the possibility of entering the conflict. Wednesday, October 29th. Moscow has up to date withstood 5 German offensives. Hitler is getting impatient, and the high commands blame the situation on the weather conditions, which have led to a catastrophic jamming of heavy artillery, infantry, and light armored vehicles. Only heavy tanks can advance with great difficulty. In addition, the huge distances and the actions of the partisans against convoys complicate the supply of the front troops of the Reich. To make things worse, the width of the Russian railroads is different to that of the rest of Europe, and therefore hinders and delays any logistical initiative. Meanwhile, there is an incessant influx of troops coming from Siberia to the Soviet capital. In the south, in the Crimean Peninsula, the German troops are fighting fierce combats against the Russians. In the river Donets basin, the forces of the Reich take the major industrial city of Makiivka. The Vichy government, France, like that of Germany, imposes heavy sanctions on those who listen to the English radio broadcasts, both publicly and in private. In the naval war, the German submarines sink 14 ships belonging to a convoy sailing from Gibraltar to Britain. Thursday, October 30th. Stalin is handling information that points that the Japanese are planning an attack against the United States and that Russia will have no problems in its eastern borders. This situation will open the possibility to send thousands of soldiers to the Western Front, something that Hitler had not considered. The communist leader receives a message from President Roosevelt informing him that a loan for Russia of $1 billion has been approved to enable her to purchase war materials. The Soviet Union will have to start to pay back the money 5 years after the war is over. The Panzer units of General Guderian are 4 kilometers away from Tula, where the largest train factory of the USSR is located. In the Crimean Peninsula, the Germans are assaulting the Sevastopol fortress, which will resist for 8 months. Motorized units cross the River Donets and march towards Stalingrad. In Alaska, American Army maneuvers begin. In Washington, during a public act, Colonel Charles Lindbergh heavily criticizes President Roosevelt, whom he accuses of dragging the country to war. The American government asks the United Kingdom and China to open their naval bases to the American fleet. Friday, October 31st. In northern Russia, German mountain units advance towards Murmansk but are stopped by Soviet troops. In the center, Luftwaffe aircraft, in very unfavorable conditions, carry out an offensive against Moscow. The temperature in the city goes down to minus 35 degrees Celsius. In the south, the Soviets start the evacuation of the city of Rostov. In Crimea, the German forces hold the pressure on Sevastopol while they move towards the Kerch Peninsula in the east. The British bombers focus their attacks on the German cities of Hamburg and Cologne. On the other hand, the Luftwaffe carries out several raids against Dover. In the Mediterranean, the RAF airplanes stationed in the island of Malta attack the convoys carrying supplies to the Axis troops in North Africa. The port of Alexandria and the facilities in the Nile Delta in Egypt are bombed by the German aviation. The American destroyer Reuben James is torpedoed and sunk by the U-552 of Commander Eric Taup near Iceland while escorting convoy HX-156.